So hi there again everyone, this is again Alan and welcome back to my watercolor channel. Today in this video, we are going to be featuring and reviewing a new watercolor brand from the US, and that is none other than the Viburnum Art Watercolors. Viburnum Art is a new brand and their website is www.viburnumart.com. Their tagline is quality that inspires creativity. As per website and their Amazon store, this is the only product they have, this 24 pan set. I'm not sure if they'll soon offer open stock of colors, so let's just stand by. Anyway, I'll be putting all the useful links at the description box. So now guys, let's do the unboxing. I saved the unboxing for you guys because I know some of you love watching unboxing videos. I know it's very satisfying. So they sent this through this box, this sturdy box, and it arrived perfectly. So let's use my scissors. This was sent to me by Viburnum Art on, I believe, September 1, and it arrived after just 3 weeks. We have some bubble wraps here, but don't worry, I recycle all of the boxes and bubble wraps that I receive. So what we have here is this 24 color set, and this is $45 US, and as you can see, it's still sealed. And now let's remove the cellophane. So it comes with this matte finished box. It says here VA. This is Viburnum Art watercolor set, 24 colors, half pans, 1 watercolor brush. So this set comes with a free brush, a plastic palette, and I believe all of these are placed in a wooden box. It says here professional artists quality, rich color palette, fine quality transparent watercolors. So here we have a legend of light fastness rating and staining rating and transparency rating. At the back, we have here a preview of the colors that are included. We have here the color name in English, the pigment code, the color name in 2 other languages. So here are the contents. And we have here a note. Please note, this is not intended for use by children. Do not use for other than the intended purpose. It says here, made in China, conforms to ASTM D4236. So yes, this is made in China, but it was shipped from the United States. Now, let's check out the box. Anyway, they sent this set to me. I'm not sponsored. So all my reviews you can trust that are all honest. And yes, so this is the box. It looks so classic. We have here a golden hinge. So this is, I think, carved. The logo is here. Oh. So here is the plastic mixing palette. And we have here a card. Thank you for your order. So here are their social media accounts and their website. Here is a swatch card, and here are the paints. Now let's check out the brush that comes in the set. So it's a size 4 synthetic mop brush, and it looks so satisfyingly good. The point is so perfect. It's kind of large. And for comparison, here's my Raphael size 0. And I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to use this later for a sample painting, but I'm gonna try to wet this and see how it works. So now let's check out an individual half pan. So here we have phthalo blue, And of course, we have here the logo, the brand name, and on the side, it says here, conforms to ASTM D4236. It says here, made in China. And on this side, we have here the pigment information, PB15:3, the stars for the light fastness rating, the transparency rating, and also the staining rating. And we also have here the website. We can just slide the half pan, or we can also, do it like this. And since the pigment information, the light fastness rating, etc. are placed here, I'm going to be saving all the wrappers. So this is our half pan up close, and it is filled up to the brim with a small dent on the center. And this is obviously liquid poured. This is very comparable to Schminka. So now let's unwrap all the remaining half pans. Now all the wrappers are removed. Here are now our paints. And also I have pasted all the wrappers at the back of our swatches. So here now are the wrappers, and I saved them because of the information they hold. So now let's proceed to our swatches and sample painting, and as always I'm using Arches 185 cold press cotton paper, and for my brushes I'm using my Da Vinci Kolinsky flat brush, and this is size 6, and my Nevskaya Palitra Kolinsky sable brush, and this is size 3. By the way, I'm not wetting the pans prior to swatching, to be fair to the other brands that we have reviewed. So now let's begin. So the first color is titanium white using PW6, and as you can see it's kind of opaque, but let's see if it remains opaque as it dries. Next color is lemon yellow using PY3, and as you can see this is very vibrant, and as of now it's semi-transparent. Now for our warm yellow, we have here cadmium yellow medium hue. It's hue, so it's not a genuine cadmium pigment, because genuine cadmium yellow pigment is PY35. We have here instead PY213 and PY83, and PY213 is not a common pigment in sets. It's, if I remember correctly, Hosta Perm Yellow. The light fastness of this is high, so I think it's very good to excellent when it comes to light fastness. PY83 is Diarylight Yellow, also very light fast. Now we have here cadmium orange hue. So it's a hue, it's not using the genuine cadmium orange pigment, which is PO20, but instead we have here PY213 and PO73. PY213 is the Hosta Perm Yellow something, which is also good when it comes to light fastness, and mixed with PO73, which is Spiral Orange. Next color we have here vermilion using PR242 and PY213. PR242, if I remember correctly, is the Zaso Scarlet, which is also very good when it comes to light fastness. Wow, the scarlet red is really intense, and it's using PR254, one of my favorite red pigments. Now we're done with our first row, and so far I'm loving them. They're vibrant and most of them are transparent, so I'm happy. Now I'm delighted to see that they're using PR264 in their Pyrrole Crimson. This is the same pigment that Daniel Smith uses in their Pyrrole Crimson, and PR264 is also a very reliable pigment. Now their Rose Madder is using two pigments, PV19 and PR122. Both pigments are included in Handprint's top 40 pigments, and this shade reminds me so much of Quinacridone Red of Daniel Smith. Now here is another surprising pigment in this set. They're using PV16 in their mineral violet color. PV16 is also included in Handprint's top 40 pigments. It's manganese violet, and this is not a cheap pigment, so I'm positively surprised that it's here. And another violet in this set, we have dioxazine violet using PV23, and as expected, it is very deep and intense. For ultramarine blue, they're using PB29, and as early as now I am seeing the granulation. The hue is a standard ultramarine. And the last color in this row is Prussian blue, using of course PB27. The mass tone is really deep, just like dioxazine violet, and that is expected in PB27. Now let's go to the third row, and let's begin with phthalo blue using PB15:3. This is a standard hue of phthalo blue. It's green shade or yellow shade, and this is just so intense as well and transparent. Next color is sky blue using PB17. PB17 is phthalocyanine cyan, and this is a pigment we don't see every day. Not that it's rare, but I only see this in, some Asian sets or Asian brands. For me, this is the perfect mixing blue color. It's the perfect cyan, that's why it's phthalocyanine cyan. But unfortunately, among all the colors here, it's the only one that has only 3/5 stars when it comes to light fastness. So that I think is fair when it comes to light fastness. It's not fugitive, but it's not also very good when it comes to light fastness. So use this with a warning. Next color is phthalo green using PG7, and since this is PG7, it's the phthalo green blue shade. This is a standard phthalo green blue shade color. Next color is permanent green using PG7 and PY3. This reminds me so much of phthalo green yellow shade. Spring green so far is the most opaque in this set aside from titanium white, and I'm not really a fan of this yellow green color. It's nice if you need it. It's using PY151 and PG7. Now their sap green is interesting. It's using PY83, PG7, and PR101. I think this is earthier than most sap greens I know. It's almost like an olive green. If you are to ask me, I like this shade, but I'm not sure if sap green is the right name for it. But yeah, I like this shade. Now let's proceed to the fourth and final row, and let's begin with yellow ochre using PY42, and as expected, this is semi-opaque. Now for their burnt sienna, they're using PBR7, and I think this hue is the standard burnt sienna that we know. Now for their burnt umber, they're using two pigments. They have here PBR7 and PR101. The hue I think is standard. Now, for their brown oxide, they're using PBR7, and it's like a deep version of burnt umber, and it's just so transparent. I love it. For their Payne's Gray, they're using three pigments here. They have PBK7, PB15, and PV19, and I think this is also another standard hue of Payne's Gray. It's more on cooler dark gray. Now for our last color, we have here lamp black using PBK7 and PB15. I'm wondering why they had to include PB15 here. I don't know, maybe their PBK7 is a little too warm to be called lamp black. I'm not seeing any trace of PB15 here, but looks a standard lamp black color. So now while we are waiting for the swatches to dry, let's now proceed to our sample painting. Now our sample painting is dry, we can now remove our tape. And for a closer look, now for our review proper, let's begin with their color selection. Generally, the color selection for me is good because we can see that there's split primaries. We have here cool yellow, warm yellow. We have here considerably two warm reds and two cool reds. We have here a warm blue and two cool blues. 14 out of the 24 colors are single pigment, so I think that's good. But if I were to be a little bit more OC when it comes to the color selection, I think I would need to remove one of these two cool greens because they look a bit close. I think I would swap permanent green with a reddish brown color, say an English red or an Indian red. One of the things I'm really very happy about this set is that 23 out of the 24 colors are very good to excellent when it comes to light fastness. Only the sky blue PB17 is fair when it comes to light fastness. Still not a bad thing, it's not fugitive, but if I were you, if you need a cool blue, just use the phthalo blue PB15:3. I think the colors are obviously very vibrant, the pigment load is decent, and they remind me so much of Paul Rubens watercolors. I'm also happy to say that 21 out of the 24 colors are transparent. Only the PW6 Titanium White, PY42 Yellow Ochre, and the Spring Green are semi-transparent or semi-opaque. When it comes to flow and movement, no, they don't move that much, but that's fine for me because I want to, control my paints. Mixability is very fine. I was very happy mixing my paints, and by the way, the plastic palette also worked fine. Not as good as ceramic or porcelain, but also worked fine. I don't think these paints are chalky. Our water is clear, and to see how well the paints adhere on paper, let's use a napkin and rub it against our swatches and sample painting. And if we see marks and traces of pigments in our paper, then this could be a sign that the paints are chalky. So our paper is clean and it got damaged already, but no traces of pigments in our paper. So I think these paints are adhering well on paper, and also I think they're not chalky. Anyway, let's proceed to our favorite portion, which is the comparison part. And let's begin with the student grade paints that are, of course, I think less performing as compared to the Viburnum Art Watercolors. So let's begin with Best Buy Watercolors. We have Simbalayon Watercolors, Dong A Creative. I'm warning you, we have a lot of swatches here. Faber-Castell, Starling Arts, Sakura Koi Pocket Fill Sketchbox, Giorgione Watercolor Cakes, Reeves Watercolor, Magiwap Basics Watercolors, Montmartre Two Seasons, Maris Watercolors in tubes, Faber-Castell tubes, Pentel Watercolors Fine, Art Ranger Watercolors, Berkeley Watercolors, the Bayo Studio Watercolors, the Franck and Bourgeois Watercolors, Prang 2007, Prang 2019, Renaissance Watercolors, Grumbacher Academy, Bustro Artists Watercolors, but I must say the vibrancy and intensity is very comparable. We also have Butsai Chinese Painting Pigments, Pelikan Transparent Watercolors, Miyahime Solid Watercolors, Pretty Excellent Watercolors, Superior Foldable Palette. We also have here Superior Pan Palette, Semi Arts Solid Watercolors, Semi Arts Arch Watercolors, Superior Watercolors, Semi Art Semi Dry Watercolors, Kuretake Gansai Tambi, Owen Watercolor Cakes, Owen Watercolor Metal Case, Kohinoor and Linke Brilliant Watercolors. We also have Van Gogh 12+3 half pans, Sonnet Watercolors, Winsor Newton Cotman, and Winsor and Newton China. Basing on pigment selection and performance, I'm categorizing Viburnum Art Professional Watercolors as artist grade paints. So now let's compare Viburnum Art against some professional grade paints that are less performing. So let's begin with Maris Masters Watercolors. with Prima Tropicals, with Kokuyo Camel, Camlin Watercolors, Lucas Aquarel 1862, Españoleta Aquarela, with Citron Watercolors by Silpacorn, and the Mungyo Professional Watercolors. Visually, Mungyo and Viburnum are very comparable, but I am choosing Viburnum Art because the pigment selection is a lot better. Now, the next batch of professional grade paints are, I think, very comparable with Viburnum Art Professional Watercolors. They don't have the same characteristics, but my level of satisfaction is almost the same. So, let's begin with the Utrecht Artists Watercolors, then Isaro Extra Fine, Blocks Extra Fine, and the Rembrandt Luxury Pocket Box Set. Obviously, they don't have the same characteristics or visuals, but my level of satisfaction is almost the same, either because Viburnum Art has cheaper price. If there is just one brand that I can say that's very close to Viburnum Art, that is none other than the Paul Rubens line. So we have here the floral set, we also have the pan set, and the Paul Rubens latest, the 4th generation. Visually, they're very the same. Look at the PV23, very close. We also can say that the spring green and May green are just the same, and also same pigments, but they don't have the same PY42, don't have the same burnt sienna. So no, they're not the same paints. I think they're not rebranded of Paul Rubens. I don't feel that. And also Paul Rubens have cobalts and cadmiums, but let's wait if Viburnum Art expands their line. Now our final batch are the professional grade paints that are, I think, better performing as compared to the Viburnum Art Professional Watercolors. And let's begin with the A. Gallo Honey Watercolors. You also have the Core Watercolors, the White Knights in tubes, Winsor and Newton Professional, Holbein Watercolors, Micello Pure Pigment Set, Schminke Horadam, and of course the Daniel Smith Extra Fine Watercolors. So now for our final verdict with the Viburnum Art Professional Watercolors. Generally, I'm very satisfied and happy using these paints. I love the color selection. The pigment load is very satisfying. The pigment selection is really amazing. Almost all the colors are transparent and they're all vibrant. I can say I can use this professionally. And for the price of $45 I think these paints are great. It is very comparable with Paul Rubens watercolors, price-wise and performance-wise. And there are 3 main reasons why I would get this set. Number 1 is it's, the packaging. Who won't be happy with this packaging? I love that it comes with a wooden box, a decent mixing palette, and a beautiful brush, which I have not tested yet. I'm gonna be testing it later. I'm gonna upload at the end of the video. So yeah, the packaging is very aesthetic and it's so satisfyingly beautiful. For the price of $45, I think that's not bad at all. Number 2 is the pigment selection. I am so surprised with the pigment selection. 23 out of 24 colors are very good to excellent when it comes to light fastness. Light fastness is a high priority for me, so yeah, that's one reason. And the third reason is the transparency of these colors. 21 out of 24 colors are transparent. They are very clean on paper, and the only colors that are opaque were the colors that are admittedly on the opaque side, and those are the titanium white, yellow ochre, and spring green. So yeah, I'm so solved with that. If there are cons about these paints, I think that would be the range of colors that are available. There are only 24 colors, and if you run out of, say, one of these pans, they don't have open stock yet. So please follow them on their social media accounts to get updated in case you have a set and you want, to buy extra pans of the other colors. Another cons is that as of now, they're only available at Amazon US. Some countries can access Amazon, but of course this will be more affordable if you are from the States. So now if you're gonna ask me would I recommend the Viburnum Art Professional Watercolors, my answer is of course an easy yes. The paints are so good, the pigment selection are very good also. The transparency is amazing, and the colors are vibrant. For $45, I think this is already a good deal. We have a pretty box here with a beautiful brush. So I think these are good if you are professional and you would want to use this, for paintings to be displayed or for paintings to be sold. I think the pigment selection is very dependable already, except for PB17. And to be more sure, to be more accurate, you may want to perform your light fastness test. But overall, I'm very happy and pleased with the performance of the Viburnum Art Professional Watercolors. Look at our swatches. I'm also very happy with my output painting using these paints. And now I can't really wait for the Viburnum Art to expand their color line, to add more colors, and to have them in open stock. So I think we're done with our review. If you have any comments, questions, suggestions, please leave them at the comment box. I am gonna be answering them as soon as I can. Please don't forget to like and share this video. And if you're not subscribed yet, please do subscribe to be updated on my future uploads. Again, this has been Alan, and see you on the next video. Bye-bye!